it kind of helped them advance. I mean, do you think this was a conspiracy?
Gotta go with Jacob Butter. Gotta go lefty.
No, we're talking about the players. That's tournament champion into the podcast.
There he is, right there.
Oh, he doesn't even know how to watch. Go to youtube.com and search Down Lane Podcast.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Down Lane Podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Haines, and with me is the producer.
What am I doing on this
What's
side?
up? Austin VanBuren.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this one.
He is shaking in the chair over there. What's going on, Austin? How's it going tonight?
Oh, just making sure I don't mess the audio up while I can't hear. This is different.
Yeah.
It's different on this side.
Welcome to the hot seat. We are streaming live from the lab at Town and Country Lanes. Anthony is a little under the weather. Oh, man. Little baby Anthony. Man-child, as we call him.
Hey, I hope he feels better.
Yeah, me too. He's not even bowling tonight. That's how under the weather he is. So hopefully he feels better. We'll see him next week, God willing. But welcome to the show, everybody. We have got a lot to talk about tonight. We are talking all about the U.S. Open tonight because that's the name of the game.
Crazy so far.
Lots of stuff going on.
Absolutely crazy.
We're talking about the patterns. We are talking about a couple of storylines, the interviews on Bowl TV that have been going on. So we've got a lot to talk about that. So don't forget to comment to us during the show. Tell us what you've been hearing and seeing. We will chat with you guys. We'll take your questions or comments, and we'll get all to it. But before we do all that, Austin, how was your week this week?
My week was pretty good. Good.
Good.
I managed to blow another 800.
Oh,
I'm getting very good at that.
Yeah, I haven't seen an 800 in I don't know how long. So tell me all about it. What was it like?
Yeah, I mean, I had like this much lane Monday night down to Sportsman's, and I think I started out. I left a 4-pin on a shot that just should have struck, but 280 the first game. Our team lit it up. We had I think 1,059 4-man team for the first game.
Nice.
And followed up with 269, another 4-pin and a 10-pin, and the left lane disappeared.
Ouch.
The last game.
Ouchie.
Yeah, only mustered a 190.
Oof. Yeah.
Hey,
it happens. Happens to the best of us.
How did you bowl? How'd you bowl? You bowl Tuesday, right?
Well, I bowled many days this week. Hey, Kevin, how's it going tonight? My last game last night, 179. I struggled big time last night. We'll get to that in a minute.
Did anyone win?
Win what? No, the close. We had a guess of 177 my last game. Thanks for the vote of confidence to everybody that was guessing last night. But no, I had a 179 the last game, which was devastating. Not as bad as the 146, the middle game.
If you didn't tell me about that, I wouldn't have known.
I know. But I started out with a 2-0. We'll get into that in a minute. But but Sunday I bowled doubles, the doubles tournament that we have here. I bowled with Art Hoffman. Bowled great. We both bowled really good. We had a chance for the lead. We both made a couple of errors, but we both bowled pretty good. Then we went over to nearby bowling alley, bowled in a team tournament with you.
Don't bring it up.
Dude, we both were horrible.
I don't know if I remembered how to bowl.
Yeah.
But the ball was going down the lane.
It's amazing how you can go from one tournament and feel like you're bowling so really good.
Yeah.
And then you go an hour later and you're like, oh man, I'm going to light it up. And then it's gone. It is all gone. Yeah. And then Art lit it up.
He turned it on.
Yeah.
He
was awesome. Awesome.
I mean, it kind of makes me want to not hook the ball so much.
Yeah.
I mean, his look
I tried.
Looked twice as good as anything I saw.
Yeah. I tried to play it. Well, I kind of tried to play out there. I saw his ball dart left when he put it on the lane, and I was like, oh, the right's gone. There's nothing out there.
Yeah.
So
I probably shouldn't have started 20-5, but I started 20-5.
It was hooking. There was free hook from the gutter. Anyway, so we bowled over there, and then Wednesday night last night we bowled in our sport shot league, and it was weird because it started like it was open, like everybody's scoring really good, lots of strikes out there.
Tightened right up.
It went sideways, except for Mark Taylor bowled really good. He shot 700. Everyone else,
Great shooting, Mark.
yeah,
Great
not,
shooting.
not great. And I don't know where he started. I think he was out on the ditch maybe, or played in the track. I started on the track. I wasn't using the right ball. I got a new ball and I was trying it out, see how it would look. Not that that's an excuse.
What was
but
it?
Brutal collision.
You ended up getting one?
Yeah, I don't know how it's working, but in any event, I suck. So that's that. This is the we'll have to bring up. Let's see, where's the pattern that we bowled on last night?
Kevin said he flipped, by the way.
Yeah, he flipped the digits. He guessed 197, which I appreciate. But this is the MSBS Brook Trout that we bowled on last night. So that's the Midwest Bowl Scratch Bowling Series, which Anthony and I might visit when we go out to the Masters. And it played tougher than the first game felt. So, and it was a tough pattern. It was a 41-foot 2-1, 2-point-something to 1, but it was tough. It was tough.
Making you think a little, huh?
Yes, it was. It transitioned different.
I would have loved to bowl, but I bowled way too much practice Wednesday afternoon.
How many games did you practice yesterday?
Well, probably close to 10 games of mostly spare shooting.
Nice.
And but you know what? I still did not get better at my sevens.
I know how that goes. Yeah, I've been practicing spares for the last 2 or 3 weeks, and I came in today and I missed 5 makeables while I was practicing with my brother-in-law. So, yeah, that didn't go well.
Any epiphanies this week?
No epiphanies.
I want to get this out of the way quick because we got a lot to talk about today.
No epiphanies of the week. Yeah, I'm going to skip over that. Well, maybe next week.
May be upset about that.
I know. Joey did help me. My brother-in-law Joey did help me with my arm swing a little bit today. No real epiphanies of the week, but maybe next week.
There's always next week.
Yeah. I do want to bring up one more thing before we get into the U.S. Open stuff, though. While we were bowling in the doubles, another guy that bowls here occasionally, his name's Ross. He while he was, I think, cleaning out his father-in-law's house, found this receipt from, I gotta remember what's the date on this thing. Can you see that? 1950 something or other for a, oh man, I gotta move in on this
56.
1956 for a 27-inch black ebonite ball. It was $29, I think, for the ball, and then it was discounted a couple of bucks. I just thought this was pretty neat.
I think the final bill says $21.
Yeah, he got a couple of dollars off. Yeah, I thought it was just super cool to share with everybody. Just
imagine the equipment we've had.
Oh my God.
We would have nowadays.
Yeah,
if we just had to spend $20.
Oh my God. But yeah, I thought that was pretty neat. Pretty neat piece of history. He's got his drill specs down there too. So the guy got to carry his drill specs around. But yeah, I also thought it was pretty funny that it said 27-inch bowling ball. Like there were choices. You know what I mean? Like for different size bowling balls. But just a little piece of history that he shared with me. I thought that was really neat. So yeah, I like that.
Anthony's in the chat.
Is he in the chat?
He's in the chat.
The butcher is in the chat. What's going on, Anthony Scatia? What's going on? And Anita, anarchy when you're not around. Okay. Okay. So why don't we just dive? You got anything else about your week before we dive into the U.S. Open? No.
I mean, bowling wise, no.
Okay. All right. Then let's just dive right in to the U.S. Open. It has been pretty crazy. They are bowling the last round of qualifying right now. There's been 3 squads of qualifying this week. And the PTQ to get into the qualifying rounds. They're in, I think, probably the second game right now. They already finished the first game.
Probably pretty close to the end of the second game, I'd guess. The
B squad is bowling right now, which would be the final squad. And it's been, I would say, pretty brutal for the most of the field.
It's looking pretty brutal out there. It's looking like I'd probably be minus 400.
Unless you're the top 5 guys, it's been pretty gosh darn brutal.
I mean, just looking down at we have the live standings next to us here. We're looking down to 27th place is the last one that's plus 100. That's not including everyone that's bowled completely.
Right.
But I mean, looking at PBA standings, the whole list is usually around here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but Sean Maldonado, who's just outside the cut,
Yep.
is 105 over. And
I
he
bet
had
you
a
good about that.
he had a pretty good week. Well, first two squads, I should say, and he did not bowl good today. He had 1440 for the last day.
He caught the struggle bus.
Yeah. He was looking good the last 2 days. But yeah, why don't we talk a little bit about PTQ and the lane patterns and a little bit about that. So we'll bring up, what these guys are bowling on real quick, which is pretty interesting. So I got this graphic up here from left to right. This is the days of lane patterns. All the way to the left is the PTQ pattern.
What was the scoring like on the PTQ? I did not look at that.
So
Top of your head,
I can bring it up real fast. So Nathan Smith was plus 200 for the 8-game block. And then the cut line was plus 52 for 8 games. So
all right,
the cut was kind of low.
But it's keeping
on
it
kind of
like
on
it's
pace.
keeping pace. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was a pretty tough pattern. These are all pretty flat. But then when you go into day one of qualifying, you have 49 feet of literal flat.
Don't miss.
4-4, which was interesting because they left the left and right 4 boards completely dry.
Yep. There was definitely a spot down lane. If you got it there, it would hook. But most of the guys looked like they were right next to the headpin.
Yeah, so that was an interesting point that you bring up because the first block, which had the lowest squads, the A squad, or the lowest scores, the A squad, they were, as Jason Belmonte put it, the crash test dummies.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, so like basically guys were trying to figure out, do I play next to the gutter and bounce it off that 4 dry boards?
Yep.
Do I play next to the head pin and just roll it down the oil and hope that it stays right next to the pocket and strike there? So that was definitely interesting to watch. And then B and C basically had an advantage to see what the best course of action was.
C squad definitely took advantage of that.
Oh yeah.
I think the stat might have been that USBC posted was 8 of the top 11 after the first day came from C squad.
Right. So then as we moved into day 2 and day 3, you got the middle finger pattern, which is the third.
Perfect name.
Third from the left. Yep. But that I think was the higher scoring of the 3 days of qualifying, not including the PTQ. And that's the 45 roughly, or 43, excuse me, foot pattern. And again, it's pretty flat with the exception of the middle bar of oil that goes down. Again, another pattern that they played right down the middle of the lane for the most part. And then today they're on the 39-foot 2-2 pattern.
The Dream Crusher, as Kyle Sherman said.
Is that what he calls it? Which is again, which they all end up going again in the middle, all the way to the left, and banking it. So it's interesting.
It did look like there was a couple guys trying to play it straighter. I don't think they shot any big numbers, but I could be wrong on that.
Okay. And then the one all the way to the right is going to be your match play pattern, which is interesting. It's got a speed bump there at about, what is that, 25 feet to 30 feet?
Yeah.
Which we bowled on a speed bump on our Wednesday night, but it was at 45 feet. So it's a little different, but man, when that ball hits the speed bump, it just takes a dive forward. It's crazy.
They're
how the ball starts to roll.
Definitely going to want it to be rolling forward before it gets there.
Yeah, but it's at 25 feet. So how much can the ball get into a roll before 25 feet? You know what I mean? So it'll be interesting for sure. So just a good insight. And if anybody's not sure what you're looking at here, this is how the oil is applied to the lane. And when you have a big block of oil there, that means the pattern's really flat, and you have to be very, very, very precise on how the ball goes down the lane.
Yeah, that the day 3 one, that would definitely be the scary one for me.
Now I was talking to Anthony earlier, and he, not to throw him under the bus here, but he hates these patterns when they're this flat, and not because of his skill level or anything. It's not about the bowling, but it's because of how topography gets brought into the lanes or into the pattern. So like basically, the flatter the pattern, the more the topography is brought through.
Yeah,
so
the more it may show.
Right. So like if the pattern is less flat and more forgiving, the topography doesn't determine how the ball goes down the lane. So if it's more flat, then the topography does determine how the ball goes down the lane. So when you're moving from pair to pair, you start to depend on the topography
instead of reading the lane.
Right. So it becomes harder from going pair to pair. Now here's another storyline that I missed this interview, or not interview. I missed this podcast that Chris Barnes did either today or yesterday. So apparently the practice session for the tournament, or maybe it was a couple days ago, the practice session for the tournament was on a different set of pairs or different set of lanes than the actual tournament lanes, the scoring lanes. So they didn't even get to see the lanes that they were bowling on for practice. They got to see the pattern. And you made a good point earlier. It's kind of like when we go to the OCs and get to practice.
It's almost like that. But the difference is the OCs, you have so much time constraint.
Right.
Because you have a block bowling almost every part of the day.
Right.
So
good point. Good point.
OCs, it's understandable. They have to have it somewhere else. This bowling alley probably knew about this for months.
Oh, not probably. They're required to do this. Yeah.
So I understand USBC goes after integrity and keeping it fair for everyone.
Right.
But if you're all allowed to practice on the same lanes,
right,
you're giving everyone the same advantage of knowing what that lane's going to do or how the topography will play into that.
Yeah. My comparison, which I know is a little extreme, and not to bring golf into this again, but my comparison is it would be kind of like saying, all right, you're going to the US Open, but you got to go practice on that golf course over there.
Yeah.
And then come on over tomorrow and play on this golf course. And obviously that's crazy, but bowling is supposed to be a little more consistent. But when you're, like Anthony is saying, when you're bowling on a flat pattern like that, the lanes are not consistent. And they actually give you the topography report to show you what the lanes look like. And that, just because you get a piece of paper that tells you, this lane has a little more hook or is a little flatter or is actually quote unquote tilting towards the gutter.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily mean that that's how it's going to play.
But you're thinking that.
Right.
You see that on a topography map. You're like, I kind of got to steer away from here because I know it's going to want to do this. Or,
right.
It's the same thing as watching someone practice on something and you're like, oh, well, that's where they played. I have to play there, and you sit there and you force yourself to play that, even though it's not right.
Yeah. Because
you're like, well, he scored playing there.
Right. It just seems absolutely insane. And Matt Fazzone, he's been on the show a couple of times, one of the pro shop operators around here. He said that they do it on purpose. And then you get one shot on each lane. On your starting lane. But anyway, Anthony Scatia, you may know this gentleman. He says, I guess the reason for such a limited field is so that they can hit all the same pairs as well. So there's no advantage for anyone, which is why they have certain lanes in play. Thoughts, K-Dog? I don't know. Stu Williams was talking about this a little bit. My opinion is, as I've said before, it's the US Open. I think it needs to be open. And that means whether or not you need to qualify to get in or whatever, it needs to be open and not just like, oh, I didn't sign up fast enough, so I'm locked out.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Whether that means regional qualifiers or so Chris Barnes, again on Beef and Barnesy, He said something like, maybe this amount of people get to come in from the OCs, maybe this amount of people get to come in from this tournament or that tournament or PBA or whatever.
That would be interesting if they did like scratch singles, like top 50.
Yep.
Get to come try to qualify.
Yep. And then, but also, I think there should be regional qualifiers, whatever, to get into the U.S. Open. I think golf does that to get into the U.S. Open. I think there's regional qualifiers through their regional tours. But whatever you have to do to get into the field, if they want to limit the field to be 100 or 200 or whatever, I guess that's fine. But ultimately, instead of a PTQ, everyone around the country should have some sort of way to get there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is that making sense? It shouldn't be just like, oh, I didn't sign up fast enough. That just doesn't make sense to me. Anyway. Yeah.
I don't know what it's always been limited field, right?
Not really. There was so Tommy Jones was saying when he won back in something or other, there was 400 and something players in the field. So he alluded to saying,
do you think it has anything to do with time constraints?
It could, I guess. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know what they're trying to do. So they have 70 lanes there.
Yep.
I know part of the issue is they want to get match play on TV. So they have to build the TV pair early.
Yep.
I don't know how that affects qualifying, but I can't speak for the USBC's decisions, obviously, but I could see when I was watching the Stu Williams interview on Bowl TV today, I know he was extremely frustrated with the pace of play. He was frustrated, I think, with how some things are going. He actually was upset with the double jump. So like the not to change gears here, but the double jump is the why can't I say it? Courtesy rule, lane courtesy.
Yep.
He's like, it's time to get rid of it because it slows everything down. It took A squad 4 hours and 11 minutes to finish.
I will say
the first day
from watching Bowl TV live, there was a lot of bowlers that waited till the people around them were done instead of double jumping.
I don't know. It's hard to see on that, but like you have to wait a whole pair to your left and a whole pair to your right. Those are the rules. So you don't have an option. And I do think they say that it goes quick, but I think it does slow things down. Yeah, it was 4 hours and 11 minutes. And also, they're all taking 2 shots. I mean, I'm sure that slows things down.
Yeah.
But 2 hours a game, that's a long time. Anthony Scatia, busy guy in this chat. Wouldn't it be better if they built TV pairs and then used those pairs as the highlighted pairs for Bowl TV, which would be better quality as well, and the other pairs be just normal quality? I also agree with that, Anthony. I don't know why they aren't doing that. I don't know if it has something to do or normal qualifying. Yeah, I don't know if that has something to do with not with the PBA owning the TV equipment or Fox owning the TV equipment, and they can't make some sort of handshake agreement to share. I've thought the same exact thing. As far as
I'm sure we've all thought about it.
Yeah.
At one point, like, hey, this could make more sense.
You're right. Exactly. All right. I know we've jumped around a ton. Okay.
Yeah, where are we at?
I don't know. You want to check the scores real quick, and then we'll, since that is live. But the other thing that I want to talk about is Sean Rash.
We do have game 2 scores in.
Sean Rash made an announcement yesterday while he was being interviewed on Bowl TV.
Tech and Larson are running away with this.
Dude, they are mashing it. Tackett and Larson have absolutely been mashing the competition. So Larson is at plus 347 right now.
He's plus 70 on the first 2 games. On this
squad,
pattern.
Yeah. And then
EJ's plus 59.
And EJ's plus 332 overall. And then Snodgrass, who finished already, he's plus 288 overall. So back to Sean Rash. He made an announcement yesterday. He's got major degenerative disc. I can say that 3 times fast. And he's not sure that he's even going to be able to compete weekly this year, which is a pretty major announcement, I think.
Yeah, I'm sure back pain
is not fun,
especially when it hurts when you're doing your job.
Right.
I gotta be honest. I took a week off when my hip hurt, and I'm young, so
you're half his age almost.
I don't blame him.
Yeah,
I don't blame him at all. I think bowling injured is, unless it's for $100,000 or $1 million, it ain't worth it to me.
Right.
Because I'd rather just wait a week and be healthy and be able to perform at my best instead of my attempted best.
Right.
But that sounds like something semi-serious.
Yeah. He's been taking shots, chiropractor, massages.
Yep.
You know, you name it, he's been doing it.
Well, I do know for a fact that cortisone shots are not 100%.
Yeah, your dad has got some
he gets
serious
cortisone
hip issues
shots
as well,
all the time, and they do not always work.
And he's in some serious pain right now.
Yeah.
Apparently,
he's also thinking about taking the rest of the year off.
Apparently, the VanBurens have some serious hip issues.
Hey, you watch it. My hip's better.
But yeah, he was also going on some rants, I gotta say. I don't know. Well, you know what it is, I think. So I think it has to do with, you know, with the guys sitting there on being on Bowl TV. You know, we can get into a little bit about our thoughts on Bowl TV in a little bit, but with the guys just sitting there kind of watching bowling happen around them, and then they just kind of are in the relaxed mode, they just kind of start letting things out. You know what I mean? And and you know, I've got my feelings about the quality level of Bowl TV, and I've got my feelings about whatever, but then I'm watching it, I'm like, these guys are just letting loose, man, and they're just letting their feelings fly. And at one point, Sean Rash, you know, turns to Mike Flanagan, and he's like, you know, you could just walk down the hallway and ask those guys to come sit down next to you at any time. He's talking about other guys, you know what I mean? Other bowlers. And it was almost like the guys went like, yeah, we should probably do that. He's just sitting there criticizing them to their face. It was kind of funny.
Steve agrees with the cortisone.
Okay.
Not 100%.
So yeah, it was interesting to listen to him. And then another point that Sean Rash got into, and at some point I'm gonna have to tweet at Sean, because last year when he was spouting off about urethane and lefties, of course somebody in this room may have made a comment on the tweet box.
No clue who it was. No clue.
I may have to tweet back at him and tell him offer a truce, because I found myself agreeing with him on a lot of points. But so he made a point about how there's a lot of bowlers that are really worried about their content creation over building up the sport.
The bowling.
Yeah. Not actually bowling, but over building the sport of bowling. So like he does a lot of clinics, right?
Yep.
Getting a lot of youth bowlers and even adult bowlers, whatever, getting people to learn about the game, you know, doing group settings and stuff like that. And he mentioned other stuff too, but whereas maybe the other guys that are more just worried about their YouTube channels and whatnot, and he did not say any names, are maybe not doing that as much. And I'm not saying that that's what's happening. This is just all coming out of Rash's mouth.
I definitely see two sides to that, and I put this in the draft because I want to talk about it. The social media presence at the U.S. Open this year is crazy. I mean, I went on YouTube the first practice day and saw 10 different videos from all different guys.
Yep.
I mean, you have all the house guys. They all have separate YouTube channels now. You know, you have all these lower tier bowlers or amateurs, if you will. They're all starting YouTube channels, and some of them are definitely pushing the sport to grow. In specific, Brad and Kyle have their own seminars and a whole, you know, class dedicated to that you can buy into, and you get equipment with it, and you also learn to be better.
Right.
but there are a select few out there, without naming names, that their channel is more focused towards the growth of themselves than the growth of the sport.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's hard to say, like, is it still just growing the sport? You know, like, because it is getting views on bowling. It's getting views on professional bowling. But
I mean, it's a toss up. It really is. You're still getting views about it. You're still getting people to see it, view it, and say, "Oh, that's what bowling's like at that level."
Right.
So at some point, it's got to be working. I know last week and the week before, we talked very hardly about the Mookie Betts situation.
You mean
and
harshly?
Yeah, harshly. And I will say, every time I went to the main channel, someone mentioned Mookie Betts.
Yeah.
So there are people out there that are watching and asking about him. And there's articles out. I've seen plenty of articles, some not correct. But there are a lot of articles right now being written about Mookie bowling. I don't know where he is on the standings. I know he's down there.
Take a look. I will say, though, if we want to just change gears real quick, day one, he killed it.
I heard he was like 60.
He averaged 190, tied with Belmo, and he was around 50 or 60. It was
Making
unreal.
spares.
It was crazy. Day 2 and 3, not so much. That was I don't know if it was the nerves or what, but he definitely did not continue that track. And I can safely say that I do not have to buy dinner or whatever the bet was, that if he makes match play, I have to do whatever. But
let's see, where's he at?
Just keep going. He was, when I saw his number on Bowl TV today, it was like minus 300.
What is Matt Russo
or 400.
doing down here?
71. That's not bad. Minus 100. It's
minus
minus 99. Yeah, I don't know, but scroll on down. Keep going.
Ooh,
like way down. Keep going.
Not looking good for our two-handed champion there.
Who's that? I can't see who you're pointing at. Oh, Belmo. Yeah, no, he finished minus 119. Yeah, struggled this week. Let's see. Keep going.
There he is. 98th currently.
Minus 340.
Minus 340. That's where I'd be. Look at that. See, I'm right with that. I'd be happy.
Yeah. Not last, like Jimmy Allen says.
Not last.
You know, his goal, Jimmy Allen's goal is to not be last, and he succeeded in that. All right. So let's see here. What else we got to talk about? All right, you want to talk about the equipment limit?
Yeah, it's an interesting concept to me, because
I think they've been doing this for the last couple of years, but we'll talk about it.
You look at their whole season, and they have all these tournaments
unlimited
on
the PBA
go
tour.
onto the truck.
Yep.
Put
drill
the box on the rack, and it's drilled for you in the morning.
Yep.
You know, and
drill for you the next game.
US Open. Now you have a practice day to decide what you want to bring.
Yeah.
You know, and if you don't know your equipment, you're at a disadvantage.
It's very important.
Instantly.
Yeah. Yeah. So you have to pick 10 balls for the 3 days of qualifying. If I'm not mistaken,
after qualifying,
you get to refresh.
Yep, you get to refresh.
Yep. If you make match play. And I believe it's still 10 after that.
Probably. I don't know though.
But yeah, so that, I know it sounds crazy maybe to people that are not as high tech or advanced to have 10 balls, but these guys are rolling with freaking 20, 30 balls.
20 in their head that they're going to try.
Plus they got a whole truck full,
you know,
that the bowling ball manufacturers carry for them. So yeah, it's to be able to narrow it down and be successful with that is a skill in itself. And then you have to make surface adjustments every day to make sure that, because to go from 49 feet to 39 feet and have a limit of 10 balls, because you have to work those balls through the transition.
Yep.
From game to game to game. You do have to make some surface adjustments to make sure that some of those same balls might be used from day to day. and they may have to get some surface adjustments to be able to be used from one block to the next. So it is definitely a skill.
You learn.
Yeah.
You learn. I mean, you could have all the numbers in front of you and go in there with an idea, and not a single one could work.
Right.
You just knowing. That's one of those things where I truly believe it is a I can't think of the word I'm thinking of.
I don't know. I can't be in your brain.
That's an experience thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You don't. There is no learning that without the experience, in my opinion. If you don't have I mean, I know a lot of people who know a lot about bowling balls.
Right.
Not the best bowlers, but they did the research, so they know it.
Yep.
And they'll still come up and ask me, who knows a lot less than they do, what ball I think they should be throwing.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I'm right 90% of the time myself, but it goes to the point where you could think you know everything, and you still have to rely on, for them it would be ball reps. But, for an amateur going out to a tournament, you have to rely on yourself to not only bring the right equipment, but make the right ball changes at the right time. And know, I mean, these guys are making a ball change. They're making 5-10 board moves and just right in the pocket.
Yeah.
They
know their equipment. Yeah. Steve Ragone says, if nothing is working, spare ball down the middle. That was happening. I saw McCune today. On one of the
that is reactive plastic.
Yeah, right. As Tommy
T-Sauce is back in town.
As Tommy would do it. Yeah, so that was happening, and I don't know that was a spare ball, but McCune throws it like 174 miles an hour, I think, and he was piping it to the head pin. And
the pins fall.
Yeah. One way or another. So who else we got moving around here before we talk about a little bit about Bowl TV? Tom Doherty's up there. He's got plus 211. Yep. He's making his way up. He's got plus 24 for this block. Who else is moving?
Matt Sanders had a pretty good block. Third block, 1733. Moved him up in a 10th for now.
Who else is on B squad? That is Trevor Roberts. He's plus 7 for 2 games.
You ever heard that name?
I have not.
He's up there.
Yeah, he bowled A squad too.
He's probably going to make it into match play.
Yeah, they were saying earlier that you have to be at least around 115, I think, if you want to scroll down to the cut line.
Looks like that's going to be pretty accurate.
Yeah. Tom Hess right now is sitting at the cut with 107. Francois Lavoie, 112. Stuart Williams, 113. And those guys are on the cusp. They are hoping to get in because the B squad is still finishing up.
Or is this from squad 2?
No, this is right now. That's what they finished at.
But does that account these scores?
Yep. That's accounting all 3 games. That is for all 3 games. 107, 112, 113. So yeah, right now the cut line is 107.
Christopher Sloan can bowl his way in.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's got 6 more games.
231, 191, or 199.
Yeah, he's plus 30 right now. Got Chris Barnes.
Barnes can bowl his way in.
He's got a bowl.
He's got to have a couple numbers here.
Yeah, he's got to bowl a lot for 6 games, but he can make his way in. Sam Cooley can still make his way in. These guys have about
50 to 70 pins
70
off.
Pins to make it in, but yeah, they can still make it in. And that's probably about it, unless Santu or Sterner have some magic in their pocket. But
Sterner was a lot closer. He had a 155 game too.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember Sterner was up in 28th or 29th.
Yep. Those guys, Santu and Sterner, are literally about 90 off, and they would need to have some serious games in order to come back. But we'll see how that works out.
Oh, I don't know if you saw this.
I saw the Haines Bowling TV.
Yeah,
no thanks.
Why not? That's where you can put your weekly epiphany.
That's all right. We've already got our Down Lane podcast, which, by the way, don't forget to like, subscribe, click the bell to get alerts from the channel. Also, start to follow the Journey to the Masters hashtag on Instagram and whatever else, because Anthony and I are going to the Masters for some reason. I don't know why I'm going, because Anthony strong-armed me. But yeah, we're going. Yeah, that's right.
Wasn't because you wanted to go?
I did at one point. But yeah, we're going, and I'm practicing every single day.
He's not lying. I drive by this place every day.
This is my slow season,
and the van is there.
Yeah, this is my slow season, so this is when I can practice. And it's good timing for us to be able to go. So yeah, we'll be out there in March. So if you want to follow that hashtag, I post some videos and some whatnots about. That's true. Jacko did make me go. And you can follow that along to see our progress to the Masters. That being said,
fun. Should be fun.
Yeah, we'll post some content out there.
Are we doing a giveaway?
When?
For that? For the Masters?
I don't know.
Are we gonna have?
I'm giving it all away out there, man.
Jeez Louise. Are we gonna put out a poll to see what you and Anthony bowl, and if anyone guesses it, we'll send them something.
Sure.
I think we should.
Sure. Guess what I'll bowl, and they'll probably be.
Hey,
right.
You know what I thought about the other day? How's our cashing percentage tournament thing going for your New Year's resolution?
So all of the ones that I've entered so far are, one is New Year's Day. That's over. That was
Yep.
And then the rest have all been the doubles, which is not done yet.
Are you in a cashing spot?
Currently, I think so. But I haven't entered
it. You better watch out. Me and T Ray are bowling Sunday.
I haven't. Me and Nick are bowling Sunday too. So, and I haven't entered it as cashing yet because tournament's not over.
It's not over yet. So that'll put you at you bowled in the town team tournament. That's not over yet either. We might have a shot.
No, we do not. I didn't get any handicap. Anyway,
so that'll put you right around 33% to start the year.
No,
obvious cash. Obvious cash at the Masters. I mean, it'd be stupid not to cash at the Masters.
Oh God, I'm terrible. So
percentage is going to go up, Kyle. We're getting there.
I hope so.
Don't worry, my percentage is 0.
All right. So, Bowl TV. You've been watching Bowl TV?
I have. After I got my account working.
Yeah,
it took me a little while.
I made my promise to subscribe because bowling is all in one spot now.
I did.
Let us know if you guys are subscribed and watching Bowl TV.
And let us know what you think too, because we're gonna give our opinions here. I have a couple good ones and a couple bad ones.
Me too. Why don't you go first?
Are we starting with good or bad?
Why don't we start with the negative and we'll go to the positive.
My first negative is
that way we end on a positive note.
Every time I pull up a live stream, it pops up with the subscription.
Oh yeah,
and then it flips to the camera.
Yeah. It's a little slow.
It's clunky.
Yeah,
it's clunky for a company like that. I think it should have been a little more
advanced.
Thorough.
Yeah,
in the testing phases.
Yeah,
but it's close.
Yeah,
it's close.
I'm not saying it's a multi-billion-dollar company like Netflix, but like every time you pull up Netflix, it's not like, hey, by the way, log in to subscribe. And
yeah.
You know
it's kind of one of those bugs where it's like, you guys could probably get this fixed this weekend.
Yeah.
But I understand if you don't.
And they pay somebody else to do it.
Yep.
It's a third party. We pay somebody else to do it.
A good one. A good right off the bat.
Well, that's what we
They were having actual bowlers commentating the live stream.
Yep.
I loved that. I thought that was a great idea.
Yep.
I listened to Ryan Simonelli for about an hour the other day.
Yeah. No, I liked listening to those guys. They had really good. It's good to get really good insight from the players on the lanes.
That's someone that's been there.
Yeah, they've
bowled in that.
You hear things that are unexpected.
Yep.
You know, like we talked about it already about the stuff about the practice is being on the separate pairs, and then the double jump. I thought all of the guys loved the double jump, and then Stu Williams was like, F that double jump. That's stupid.
I did like the interviews after the blocks.
Yeah.
I thought that was a very good idea. It allows people to stay in the stream.
Yep.
Instead of, Oh, the block's over. I'm
Click.
gonna put my phone down. Then they forget about it for the rest of the day. You're drawing in the attention.
Yep.
I think that was a great move.
Yep. I was under the impression that the application was going to actually be able to cast to my TV or my Chromecast. And I might be the only idiot that can't figure it out, but I use a Chromecast on my TV. I also have a smart TV, and neither of them work. I can't.
Well, I gotta look now.
I can't get my. I try to use the web browser on my TV. That doesn't work. I try to use the Chromecast. That doesn't work. So I have to hijack the Chromecast, get one of those third-party apps and use it that way to go onto my TV. So that's a little annoying. But
it loaded right in.
Wow, look at that.
I think they fixed it. Oh, this is collegiate.
Oh, that's old. Yeah, that's not live. But I do have to say I like that they put lights on all the cameras. It's not dark and gloomy, so that looks good.
Did you try to cast the main, or did you try to cast the individual?
I've only been watching the main. So the cameras, the quality looks decent because they've got everything lit up, so that looks nice.
Right there.
Yeah, that's not it. That's AirPlay. It's not cast. Awesome. Oh. I tried for hours.
That's what I use when I cast to my Samsung TV.
Yeah. I use Chromecast. Yeah. Anyway, so the camera quality is not bad. I wish they had some motorized cameras so they could zoom in and rotate, and you could actually pan around and go to some players that they're talking about.
I read a couple comments in here. You'd be interested in what they're talking about.
What are they talking about right now?
They're talking about past winners getting invites and how they don't.
They only go back 10 years, I think.
10 years is what it is?
I think that's what they said.
You always compare it to golf.
Yeah.
First comment I read was comparing golf US Open to this US Open.
Excellent. So, I think overall it's decent.
It's close. I think it's close.
I would like to see a little more production value. I've said definitely it a million times. They've got instant replays though. They've got instant replays, which is nice.
I've not. So I've been watching the individual. I haven't really been watching the main.
Okay, so they can do instant replays. They can put graphics up on the screen. I'd like to see a little ticker across the bottom.
I did see the graphics, and we did talk about the ticker yesterday. I think it was because I brought up scores and you were like, "Those are wrong," and I was like, "Well, I couldn't read it." So
no, they should have a ticker across the bottom.
Kind of like we do.
Just like like when we post our tournament, we put a ticker across the bottom. Yep. They could do that like NASCAR does. Or golf. Golf does it. They put -20. -10, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yep. The other thing was they got the scores out very slow.
That's USB-C.
I know. I
don't know why
scores
it's so
got
slow.
out very slow.
But PBA is the same way.
It was 3 to 5 frames into the next game before you actually got the
at
standings
least
list.
PBA is the same exact way though. When you bowl in a regional, you will be halfway through the next game before people here.
Well, while you're bowling, I feel like it's a good thing because you're already 5 frames in. If you're striking, you're feeling good. If you're not, you're already not striking.
No, I just mean the live scoring is way behind compared to and I don't know what the reason that is because the computer scoring is so fast that I don't know why it's so far behind. But
now, does that house have lane talk?
Yep, they have live scoring through bowl.com. So if you want to go to bowl.com, you can watch the live scoring.
Yep.
As well as the updated master
score
about
sheet. Updated. Before we log off here, let's see if game 3 has been put in yet.
Let's do it. Who else has been? Who is kind of your
game 3's in
surprise? Not pick, but surprise person that you didn't expect to be up there.
Oh boy. Tackett
overtook Larson.
Mashing him. Well, Larson had a 160 the third game.
That is not good. Tackett just shot
one thing I wanted to bring
240
up,
to shoot be plus 380. And right, 240. Am I reading that right from over here?
Yep, 248 the third game. So he's got back-to-back 240s. He's feeling it. He has to have a good look.
He's
I wonder
probably
what ball
already
he's throwing.
loft in the gutter
We're gonna have
cap.
to see what ball he's throwing. I'd imagine he probably started there.
Yeah, they're hooking this pattern.
I would have to say
Tom Doherty bowled good this week.
there's a couple names in here that I've never heard of, and I mean never.
Yeah, Keiko from Finland, I've never heard of.
Brian Hallen, South Carolina, never heard of him.
Yep.
Alec Keplinger, I don't think I've ever heard his name before. But the big one was Frank Snodgrass.
Yeah.
Where'd he come from?
He has bowled in some tournaments. He's made some money, but I think he just joined this year officially as like
the
a full
PBA you're
timer.
talking, yep.
Yeah. If I read up on him correctly. And he's from the Midwest,
Yep,
and
Michigan.
he bowls in that tournament. I think I mentioned this already.
Yep,
He bowls in
yep.
that tournament that Anthony and I might go to, the MSBS Midwest Scratch Bowling Series. AJ Chapman also bowled really good this week, and he's been coming along, man. This kid is.
I don't know who brought.
Throws it really good.
Did Anthony bring up AJ Johnson or AJ Chapman last week?
I don't know.
It
Oh,
was
as,
one of the
as a
AJs,
sleeper pick or as one of the picks to
we were,
make
like,
it.
Talking, yeah.
I don't
One of us
remember
brought
which one.
of them. Oh, we were talking about Rev Rate, and I think.
Okay.
All right.
But yeah,
I knew one of the AJs brought up.
Chapman's been throwing it really, really good, and it's good to see him come alive this week.
And it had to be what, 2019, the year he had a really good year. I mean, he made a couple shows one of the years prior.
Dude, you're asking me to remember stuff now. That's just silly.
Good to see him up there, though.
Yeah.
I mean, Prather. Let's be honest, we knew he'd be up there.
Yeah, he's throwing it good.
When does he not throw it good?
I know, but he's been killing it on Team USA.
Dallas Long. Did you just say Long for him?
Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Anthony says he was talking about AJ Johnson.
Okay. Yep.
Last week.
But Richie Teese.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, he led the first block, I think it was.
Yes.
C squad.
Yep.
16-10.
He went plus 2. Was that 210 or 110?
No, he shot 1750.
There he
the first block. Yeah, 1756. He mashed him. Yeah, very good.
Big scores.
Very good. Yeah,
big scores.
And that was that tough pattern. But plus, him and Larson are very similar in their game. Very very smooth. Very very smooth roll.
Yeah, I'd say Richie definitely puts more on the ball. Larson's
probably
a little straighter down the lane, unless I'm not thinking of the right Larson, because there's two of them.
Martin and Thomas.
Thomas is the younger one, correct? Thomas is the younger one, the young kid.
Just Tom
and Martin is
Thomas and Martin. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know who's younger or who's older, but
pretty sure Thomas is the young kid. And he plays him a little straighter, usually in front of him instead of left to right. But Richie Teese is one of those guys that gets to the bottom, comes all the way around it. Nice slow roll. So I'm not surprised to see him up there. Matt Sanders, haven't heard that name in a while.
Yep.
He's back up there. Lefty, right?
Dude, yes.
Lefty.
Yeah.
Why do I know more?
I don't know. All right, so the other
Jake Peters, that was Anthony's sleeper pick, right?
The other, yes. Yep, he bowled great this week.
You got a shot, buddy.
The other exciting thing this week, tune in Saturday on FS1 for live match play.
It's gonna be crazy. One of these days we'll have to have a watch party for one of these things.
Yeah. So that's exciting. We next week we'll have all of the recap about match play. We'll have recap about finals. And then we're also going to be talking about how to fill the holes in your arsenal. Yeah. So tune in next week for all of that stuff. But yeah, we'll be talking about match play. I'm really excited about this live match play stuff. I know they did a little bit of it last time.
I think it's going to be nice.
Yeah.
I think it's going to draw more fans in because when they're on the show, you really don't you see them for one game sometimes and they don't really get animated, but you watch the replays that they show and that he needs a strike to win the game and you get to see the actual emotion.
Yeah.
It's a whole different it's a whole different viewing experience
Yep.
when you're watching the match play compared to the actual finals.
It'd be nice to see. It'd be interesting if they could make it like 2 pairs and have 2 sets of match play going on.
What about 2 cameras, 1 pair each?
Well, they can have as many cameras as they
got
want.
the
I'm just saying
production
they're using the full TV set. So I'm saying, but if they could have 2 pairs instead of 1 pair and have multiple sets of match play going on, it might be a little distracting.
Now here's the other question: are they having the big lights on?
Yeah, it's going to be the full set, full TV set.
So
with fans and everything.
So wait. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a normal TV set, 1 match play pair or 1 match play at a time.
Are there other matches going on at the same time? Do you know?
From my understanding, I thought originally
because that seems like a weird disadvantage.
The way that Tom Clark had explained it, I thought that they were going to be running match play, and then as they move the pairs through the house,
someone would be on the TV pair.
Yeah, but now it sounds like there's only 9 games of match play, and like it's just everybody's going to be on that TV pair one at a time. But I don't know if that's completely accurate. So
because that's what because everyone on tour will say if they've bowled on TV, the TV finals pair doesn't play like the regular pairs.
Right.
One, if it's not heat related, it's quote unquote topography related or something of that nature.
Yeah.
So I think people would probably be upset if they had to go from, let's say the finals pair is 23 and 24. If they had to go from 15 and 16 to 23 and 24 and hit the TV pair, they could be totally different because of the lights, everything. So I'd love to know more about what they plan to do with that.
Yeah, I didn't mean to say 9 games. I meant to say top 9. I should have said top 9 advanced to step ladder finals.
Yep, because the 9 through 5 are bowling for the 5th spot on the show.
Right. So it's not match. They're not doing necessarily match play.
Seeding round, pretty much.
Yeah.
Quote unquote seeding round, but you're getting rid of 4 guys.
Right.
Or 3 guys. 4 guys?
It's 4 seeds.
You're getting rid of 4 guys. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
Should be interesting.
Yeah.
Should be interesting. I gotta be honest, now watching everyone bowl, be stupid not to take Tackett.
Yeah, I mean you can say that, but we'll
obviously
see.
The pattern's gonna be different.
Well,
but
we'll see how
watching him bowl, the few shots I did, he looks comfortable.
We'll see how the match play pattern plays out. Number 1, number 2, if he makes this show, we'll see how he plays out.
Yep. I think he's got the kinks worked out.
I mean, I know how my mental game is, but yeah, we'll see how.
Right up here. It's all the way up there.
All right, guys, it is time for us to go bowling. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends. Tune into this U.S. Open. It's pretty exciting, and we're gonna have.
It's worth the subscription.
Yeah, I don't mean to advertise for Bowl TV, but it's pretty sick so far. I've been watching and tuning in. If you can't watch our show, don't forget to download and listen from any major podcast outlet. And please give us a 5-star review while you are doing that. And check out our Etsy shop. You can get some sweet shirts, hats, sweatshirts. And if you'd like to email us, you can email us at downlanepod@gmail.com. Thank you, Austin VanBuren, the producer, and
yeah, what a show! I don't know if
assistant.
I like it over here. I think I'm gonna go back over in the corner next week. But it's always fun when I get to come on the show.
Heck yeah. It's been like 3 or 4 times,
maybe twice.
Me
and Larry let it off the one time. Me and Larry crushed it.
Just you and Larry? Me and Anthony were both gone?
Maybe Anthony was here too. But Larry was on the show.
I remember that. All right. Let's see here. Thank you to Jack Skaship, proprietor of Town and Country Lanes. And thank you to my family, Stephanie, Zach, and Ethan.
I think we got to say thank you for Anthony to allowing us to use his pro shop while he's not here.
I guess so. And thank you for not being here.
Come back next week,
Just
please.
kidding. Hope you feel better and you get over the weather. And we will see you guys all next week. Thank you for watching. This is Down Lane Podcast.